DePaul, tell us about DePaul, Coach.
Yeah, I think they've gotten better and better and better, and Cleveland Melvin's a handful. They're going to press some sort of pressure for 40 minutes. Ball security is of the essence.
You guys said that you were atypically quiet in practice yesterday, that you were a little bit less prone to yelling or whatever in practice. What do you attribute that to? Did you feel a desire to sort of change your approach in practice, or was it just sort of the circumstance?
I'm quiet a lot. It's when they're not doing what they're supposed to is when I'm not very quiet.
They found it odd, though. The truck called it odd.
I found it odd because they knew they didn't play as hard as they should have played before.
These two seniors, can you talk about what they've meant to the program and to you?
Well, KJ's been phenomenal. I mean, we just nominated him for the Sportsmanship Award. When you look at what he's done in the community, you look at what he's done in the school. I mean, he represented the school's idea on how alcohol, tobacco, and those things should be handled. He has done everything and more that anybody's ever asked him to do, and he's had a great senior year. We need to get him to finish strong here, but if he's not the player of the year in the league, there needs to be an investigation. And Trucks had a good year. Without his understanding of, you go back to Kansas State game when they crawled up in us and our freshmen struggled. We gave him the ball, and he kind of got us into offense, got us settled down. He's made shots for us. He's had some big games, he's had some not so big games, but at the same time, I think we put a lot on his shoulders.
You've gotten emotional at senior nights at times before, I think, in terms of knowing that it's your last game with a player here. I'm guessing you'll kind of get that way with KJ a little bit for what he's meant to you.
I've always tried not to, but I'm not very good at it. No, I mean, you spend as much time together as what we spend together. It's time on the road. They become very much a part of your family.
What do you remember about your senior day here as a player?
I don't. We must have won, because otherwise I probably would remember. I really don't remember anything about it.
Is there anything you need to say to the players about, this being their last game? I know it happened a few years ago with Alex Ruoff, was kind of a freak thing, but is that any reason to say anything to him or just like him play?
Alex just got in foul trouble. I mean, if it wasn't for the foul trouble, he'd have been fine, I think. He didn't hardly get to play. Yeah, I don't want KJ to get in foul trouble, if that's what you want. That doesn't bode very well for our chances.
How has this team been heading into the last two games? Has there been any change with them in practice or anything like that?
No, pretty much the same. They know where they are. They've heard enough about it. They know what we've got to do.
You mentioned the late nights, early mornings. Kevin spinning here.
I'm sorry.
Deshaun telling the story about on his recruiting trip where he borrowed Deshaun's shoes and shorts and just spent his whole visit on the floor practicing with his brother. Do you remember on the recruiting show, when did you realize that work ethic, that drive, that commitment that Kevin has displayed the last 4 years?
Well, I kind of had an advantage because of Lowe's, When I talked to Lowe's about KJ, he said he's an absolutely great guy. Of course, I saw him play the whole summer in the AAU circuit, but you don't really know what kind of people are made of. But somebody like Lowe's runs the Boys and Girls Club in Mount Vernon, so he knows all those kids in Mount Vernon very well. And he had nothing but just great things to say about KJ. So we recruited him more because of what I thought he could be rather than what he was.
Normally, a coach wouldn't want a family member hanging around like his brother, was doing. Yet it seemed to work out.
Gerard's great. Gerard wants what's best for KJ, and Gerard's realistic. I mean, you got a lot of people that are just totally unrealistic about where they are and what they got to do, and Gerard's never been that way. Gerard's he's been really good. I mean, I think he's obviously they're exceptionally close, but he's been great. I mean, I talk to Gerard a lot, but very, very, very rarely ever about basketball.
KJ said that there are times when you've gotten on him about, for whatever reason, and he's kind of gone for some support from his brother, and he says he's on him worse than you are.
I mean, that's what Gerard's very realistic, and guys don't play well, they want to go find somebody that says they were all right, and Gerard's not that way. I mean, Gerard's very truthful with him, which is, what I've always tried to be with my guys. So.
What do you think separates him from other guys? I mean,
he's probably such a good kid. I mean, I know I keep saying that, but you can't imagine what a good guy he is. You can't imagine the time that he puts in and how much he really cares. A lot of guys give you a bunch of BS, that they really care. And your actions, and they told me a long time ago, your actions speak louder than your words. And he doesn't talk a lot, but his actions are the way it's supposed to be. And he's a little bit like, with Alexander, and to a degree, Day, you kind of wonder maybe sometimes that they shouldn't take a day off. And he's the same way. He's always in the gym. He's always in the gym. He's always wants to get better. It sincerely bothers him when he doesn't play well. Some of these guys will talk to you guys and tell you how terrible they feel, and then they're downtown for the rest of the night having a big time. He's not like that.
It's hard to get in trouble with him.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's we've had quite a few guys that if they'd spend more time in the gym, a little less time somewhere else, they've been a whole lot better off in a lot of ways.